So again, if you're just arriving, my name is Angela Potts-Mang'andah. I am a staff member at the Power of Love Ministry, and I'm so grateful to be the host today. I'm going to pray us in, and then we are so lucky to have my friend Lorri is speaking, and Jennifer's here to do music. So we are in store for some beautiful spiritual nourishment. So if you'd like to join me, I'll take a breath, place my hands on my heart. So grateful we can set our intention, setting our intention to be open and receptive to the gifts of God. Grateful for the gifts that Lorri has come to bring in what she will share with us. And grateful for Jennifer coming and sharing her gifts of music. So grateful for this community. We are blessing Jennifer and all the participants she is with, knowing their healing is our healing. And grateful for Jennifer for holding this beautiful container that is the Power of Love Ministry that supports all of our growth, all of our remembrance, the journey back home to the truth of who we are. And so we declare this to be a time of healing, of restoration, of nourishment, giving us beautiful energy for the week ahead. And we are grateful to go forward, sharing this light of God, this purity, this peace. We share all that we receive here with everyone, knowing there's only one. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. Great. So in doing that, I realized I didn't ask everyone to share where are you joining from, because I'm also the pilot. So, and what is your intention? If you'd like to share that in the chat, now you can. So there's that. And so I'm excited to introduce our musician, Jennifer Paskow, and she's been here many times before. And so grateful to let you know more about her. So Jennifer Paskow is an award-winning singer-songwriter on a mission to uplift and empower children and their families. The theme of self-love and acceptance weaves beautifully through her music, as well as through her classes, workshops, and one-on-one healing sessions. Holding an inner aspiration to bring more love into the world, Jennifer created a self-love and empowerment program called My Radiant Heart. She also co-facilitates Let Your Voice Be Heard, a creative empowerment circle for girls and women to express their authentic selves in a safe and supportive sisterhood. Jennifer has been engaged in energetic healing light work and building revolutionary communities of healing and transformation for the past decade. So excited to have you, Jennifer. And so please bless us with the first song. Thank you.
All right, here we go. You are welcome here. Oh, love. Even the parts you feel are broken, they are welcome to. Love is everywhere. You can there were spoken, then repair you choose. Oh, 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 You are welcome here. All of you. Even the parts you feel are broken, they are welcome to. Love is everything. Every word spoken, every path you choose. Oh, 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 you are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I love that as an opener. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so excited to bring my friend Lorri on. Hi, Lorri. Grateful to introduce Lorri to all of you. Lorri has been here many times. So Lorri has been sharing Spirit's message with clients since 1986. She started out at age 20 giving psychic readings as the youngest member invited to the Psychic Center in Rochester, New York. She had the honor of studying and working at the Chopra Center for Wellbeing and served as their spa director and a lead educator for over 4 years. She loves to write, and her book, 90 Days to Learning the Tarot, No Memorization Required, was published by Gifford Publishing in 2014. In 2016, she became part of the Power of Love Ministry as both a student and staff member. In 2021, she trusted Spirit's guidance and stepped fully into her role as a teacher of God. She's a certified spiritual counselor through the Power of Love Ministry, feeling safe while expressing her emotions and asking for what she would like is a life skill she has learned to develop, and she enjoys supporting others in doing the same. Lorri's deepest desire is to show up and be truly helpful while loving and serving whoever Spirit brings her way. Okay, you have to add that you've published also those sweet cards. Okay, we have to update your stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Lorri.
Thank you, Angela. I'm so grateful that you're here today and co-piloting. And Jennifer, the song that you picked, even the parts that are broken, like perfectly dovetails into what I wanted to talk about today. So we are totally in sync, and I really, really love that song. So I look forward to finding out how to access and purchase some of your music. So thank you for that beautiful song. You know, for today's talk, I was trying to think of, there's the problem in itself. I was trying to think of what to say. However, I sat with what's been going on in my life recently, and I'm coming clean right now, and I'm saying I've been struggling lately with a lot of self-judgment. Now it can't lurk in the shadows. And those beliefs that I'm broken, not good enough, and a failure have been so loud lately. And I'm here today to share my story and what's helping me. And I trust that it will serve and support others that may be going through the same and either are here live or are listening later. You know, recently I got to fulfill one of my bucket list items, which was walking the Camino. the Camino de Santiago. And for those of you that don't know, the Camino de Santiago is a spiritual walk that people from all over the world can take part in. There's a network of routes, and you can take any one of them, and they all lead to the shrine of James the Apostle in the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela in northwestern Spain. And it's a beautiful walk. It's a beautiful experience. The route that I chose to walk was the coastal Portuguese route. Now, I bring this up because the route itself was gorgeous. We walked about 11 to 12 miles each day. And the physical part was the easiest for me. It was the mental and the emotional part that showed up that proved to be difficult. I found myself going into comparison of not being as fun as another person, or not being as bubbly as another person, or thinking, why can't I be as popular as so and so? And it may sound silly, but my unworthiness was in full bloom. I remember just looking around and thinking, everything's so beautiful. Why am I going through this internally? And the more that I judged myself, the harder and harder it became. When others were sharing pictures of animals and their children and their family and talking about what they were going to return to once the trip was over, I was smiling on the outside, but my ego was whispering, you have nothing to return to. You don't have any animals. You don't have a family. You don't have, it went down the list. And I wasn't miserable all the time. At the beginning of the trip, I did bounce between feeling okay and feeling broken. However, by the end of the trip, that voice of self-judgment got louder. And the last 3 days, I had a migraine, I felt nauseous, and I couldn't believe that people still wanted to be around me. I remember asking my good friend, who was also my roommate, how can you possibly love me? And which is crazy because we both agreed on the trip that we were the best roommates, travel companions, either one of us had ever experienced. And yet that voice was still poking at me. Has anyone here ever gone to an amusement park? There's this ride that I remember from childhood, and it was called the Tilt-A-Whirl. And I once remember riding that over and over and over and over again. I would get dizzy, I would get nauseous, but as soon as I was off the ride and I started to feel a little better, I would get right back in line to get on again. While I was on the Camino, it felt like I was doing that internally. I could maintain a loving mindset for a little while, and then I'd hop right back on that tilt-a-whirl of fear, and I'd get dizzy and nauseous all over again. When I got home and I got back into my routine, all of the areas that had seemed empty before my trip started filling up. Opportunities began showing up in my career. A new relationship is starting, and I began looking for a dog to adopt. New amusement park rides. I began fostering a dog, and as soon as I did, internally, I got back on that tilt-a-whirl of comparison and fear. I started fostering this amazing little dog last Sunday, a week ago. And I remember having the initial thought that I felt sorry for her, so I wanted to take her in. And as the week progressed, I found it felt like I had a newborn. Now, being a single woman that's lived alone for most of her life, I haven't developed that muscle in dealing with a newborn. I mean, I've witnessed the beautiful job that you've done, Angela, and you kept coming to mind the entire week for me. And then I went into comparisons. Why can't I be more loving? Why can't I be more patient? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And I came to the conclusion that this dog would do better in a different home. And then, of course, I went through the guilt over that. Why couldn't I be a good enough parent? But this other voice was showing me this dog really liked to be with other dogs. She loved to be in the middle of tons of activity. She loved kids, she loved dogs. And I started to think, or I started to get this feeling, and I started to envision this home for her with another dog, with children, and in a family that had a fenced in yard. But I was still, even though I was seeing that and I was sensing that, and I was feeling like I was a stepping stone for her so that that person could show up, I still went into my head. I still struggled with with being broken, with not being able to love enough, with not being able to be patient enough, and just going into all this guilt, all of this blame. And finally on Friday, I would hear my friends would say, "Oh, are you sure you don't want to give it more time? Are you sure that, it's going to take patience?" So then, of course, I went into this space of, "Oh, I'm broken. I can't be that person. I don't have that in me." Instead of just saying to myself, maybe you're not the best mother for this dog that you're fostering. So I put an announcement out on Facebook on Friday. Within a few hours, who shows up? A woman with a family that was looking for a little dog. She had had a little dog. It had passed away. She was looking for a second dog for her dog. They had a fenced in backyard. And she has training skills with dogs, and she understands little dogs. So within a few hours, she came over, and little Bitsy had a new home. In my head, like, there was a part of me that was like, there you go. You were the stepping stone. That other voice was saying, but why couldn't you make it work? Why couldn't you be good enough? So there's a part of me that, in what I started to realize was, there's this part of me that enjoys holding on so tight to this amusement park, these rides that I've created. And luckily, as I was looking back over these two things, as I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, I realized that I'm becoming more and more aware of the world of suffering that I insist on creating. And as I began reflecting on that, I was reminded of in A Course in Miracles, in the text, of section 7. in chapter 13. And I'm just going to read a few excerpts from that section now to share with you. It's on page 254 of my blue book. It's called Attainment of the Real World, because I have been so lost in that world of judgment, of suffering, of fear. And that's not the real world. The real world is the one of love, the one that could look at the situations and go, oh my gosh, how great was it that you got to spend time alone and you knew what your limits were on the Camino? Oh my gosh, how great is it that you were the stepping stone for this dog and you provided a safe and a loving home? And then you found the perfect home for her. She wouldn't have been found without you being there, because she was one of my contacts. So instead of doing that, I went into this, not the real world, the world of fear. And in chapter 13, section 7, Attainment of the Real World, it starts out by saying, sit quietly and look upon the world you see and tell yourself the real world is not like this. It has no buildings, and there are no streets where people walk alone and separate. Nothing is there, but love. The world you see must be denied, for sight of it is costing you a different kind of vision. You do not really want the world you see, for it has disappointed you since time began. And as I was reading this section, I realized, wow, I am so caught up in the world that I've insisted on creating, not the real world, the world I've insisted on creating. And in paragraph 4, it starts out, yet the real world has the power to touch you even here because you love it. And what you call with love will come to you. Love always answers. Being unable to deny a call for help or not to hear the cries of pain that rise up to it from every part of this strange world you made but do not want. All that you need to give this world away in glad exchange for what you did is to look on it, basically look on it and see that it's false. You have been wrong about the world because you have misjudged yourself. From such a twisted reference point, what could you see? All seeing starts with the perceiver, who judges what is true and what is false. So as I was reading this section, it was such a reminder once again that I'm choosing to perceive the world that I see. The world that I perceive, or that I've been perceiving in these 2 stories I shared with you, led to self-judgment, and self-judgment led to guilt, or that feeling that I'm wrong or have done something wrong and I deserve to be punished. On the Camino, I judged myself for not being as social and bubbly as other people I was traveling with. With the dog, I judged myself for not being able to make it work, for being a failure, for being broken. And in both cases, I was suffering because I was judging myself. In fact, the last 3 days of my trip on the Camino, I was so deeply in that loop of self-judgment that I had a migraine and that I was nauseous. And one of the days, had to lay in bed. Another few sentences that I found in the course text that I've been drawing comfort from, because after I was reminded of this, I thought, okay, I can see that. How can I comfort myself? And I came across this part in the text. It's in chapter 3. It's section 6, paragraph 6, sentences 1 and 2. It says, God offers only mercy. Your words should reflect only mercy, because that is what you have received, and that is what you should give. The mercy those two sentences refer to is compassion and forgiveness. God offers only compassion and forgiveness. I realized that in both of those cases, I was judging myself for not accepting what was showing up. And I would think, I'm not flexible. I'm not accepting. But in my need to be that perfect spiritual student, I wasn't accepting how I was showing up. I wasn't accepting and showing my own cries for love, mercy. That was the tilt-a-whirl ride that I kept returning to, even though it was making me sick. And that caused further separation and further suffering. You know, at the very beginning of the text in A Course in Miracles, it talks about the origins of separation, because I started thinking about, well, it's me that's putting this wall up and making myself want to back up because I don't feel like I'm worthy to be loved. I don't feel like people want to be around me. I don't feel like I'm a good parent. I've got to isolate myself. And I started thinking about, what is it? What is that that's causing that? And I remember that at the very beginning of the text, in chapter 2, the origins of separation, right at the very beginning, and it's on page 17 in my text, it says, to extend is a fundamental aspect of God which he gave to his son. In the creation, God extended himself to his creations and imbued them with the same loving will to create. You have not only been fully created, but you have also been created perfect. There is no emptiness in you. Because of your likeness to your Creator, you are creative. No child of God can lose this ability because it is inherent in what he is, but he can use it inappropriately by projecting. This inappropriate use of extension or projection occurs when you believe that some emptiness or lack exists in you, and that you can fill it with your own ideas instead of the truth. When I insisted that my perception was true, that I wasn't loved, I wasn't lovable. And the process of separation, it breaks it down into steps in that part of the text. It says, first, you believe that what God created can be changed by your own mind. So I believe that, no, I'm not perfect. I'm not lovable. I'm not loved. I'm a piece of crap. So there's me believing that I can change that. I can change what God has created. Then, second, I believe that what is perfect can be rendered imperfect or lacking. I'm not bubbly enough. I'm not patient enough. I'm not good enough. Third, you believe that you can distort the creations of God, including yourself. Yes, I fully believed in that distortion I was creating. And fourth, you believe that what you can create yourself, you believe that you can create yourself and that the direction of your creation is up to you. So instead of remembering, oh, I'm part of God, unconditional love, I'm believing, no, I am not good enough. And I believe that. And that because of that, I have this life of suffering. You know, my true desire is to be able to remember this as I'm living my life, especially when I'm showing up as a cry for love. My desire is to embody mercy for myself and for all those that I serve, that compassion, that forgiveness. And I'm so grateful that the text in A Course in Miracles helped me and that the lessons also help remind me of the truth of who I am. You know, I want to believe that I'm not perfect, but the truth is I was made perfect. We were all made perfect because God offers only compassion and forgiveness. And I am willing to have my self-talk reflect only that, because that is what I'm being given. And that is what I am willing to give myself. If God offers only compassion and forgiveness, how willing are you to have your self-talk reflect only that? How would all of our lives change if we believe that to be true? Because that is what we're all being given, or we've already been given. And when we are willing to give that to ourselves, that is the way out of suffering. That's the way out of the amusement park. And that's the way back to the truth of who we are, which is love, which is the real world. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you today. I love you all.
Wow, thank you so much, Lorri. Beautiful. I love how you tied it together at the end. Well, we get to take this into some time of meditation, some quiet time for each of us. So if you'd like to place your hands on your heart or just find a way to be comfortable, if you'd like to close your eyes. And first, just sending Lorri a hug from our heart to hers, for sending her gratitude from your heart to hers, for being so courageous and willing to be authentic and share with us from her recent experiences without holding back, and really modeling authenticity. And I'm sure all of us can relate. And we have this opportunity today to consider the questions that she has presented. And so just taking a moment to see if anything comes to mind, any way that you have been with yourself, or something that has happened that has bothered you. Either you said something, or you didn't say something, or you did something that you felt ashamed of or guilty about. I know I have one. So let's see if something comes to mind. And this is that way of bringing our concerns, our worries, our guilt. It's like bringing it to the altar. So imagine we're putting it in like a basket. In this way that we are taught that we can bring these concerns, these self-judgments, these this shame or guilt, regret, that we can bring it to the holy altar of divine love. So once we've done just what Lorri did, is name it, name what happened, what was going on, what were we thinking and believing at the time that either we did something unkind or unloving. So what comes to mind? What can we make an offering of? What are we letting go of? What's the memory we are offering up? And then as we bring this in a basket to this altar, this imaginary altar that we know we can leave it there. And if we were to kneel before the altar, it's not because we are unworthy of forgiveness. It's not because we have to bow down in shame that we did something unloving. And we need to be forgiven or absolved. It's truly that we can release these things because they are not being held against us in the real world. So let us bring forward whatever we can release today. And maybe in your mind's eye, just seeing yourself putting it in a basket and leaving it there. And as we kneel down at the altar, it's not with shame, it's with gratitude. Just like waking up from a nightmare, being so grateful it's not real, that you can leave it there. And you can give thanks that you chose to see yourself innocent. You're choosing innocence for yourself as God has already chosen unconditionally. We are so grateful that the Course is showing us the way to know ourselves as perfect, as divine, as holy and fully worthy of love, because it's really what we are. So again, thank you, Lorri, for demonstrating such relaxed honesty and transparency. And we're grateful again to Jennifer Hadley for having this community where we can say, I got caught up in thinking this, I did this, and then we can be loved. We are heard and we are loved. Because it's not what we do that defines who we are. So we take a few deep breaths here, just being willing to be the light of the world. And being willing to speak to ourselves internally as the light of the world. So as we sit in that energy, anytime you're ready, Jennifer, you can bless us with your song. Thank you.
No such thing as a mistake. Everything is divine. You don't have to be perfect. Just look around and you will find. Perfectly imperfect is the way we're designed. Perfectly imperfect is the way we're designed. There'll be ups and downs. It'll take you for a ride. The compass will be your guide. That will never let you down. Perfectly imperfect is the way we're designed. Perfectly imperfect is the way we're designed. We are here to learn and grow. We are here to love and know. Perfectly imperfect is the way we're designed. Perfectly imperfect is the way we're designed. Perfectly imperfect is the way we're designed.
Beautiful. Awesome. I love how aligned that is with everything we're talking about. So thank you for that. Okay. Just gonna put my light on here. It's getting dark. So this is your chance to take what Lorri has shared and to take Jennifer's music into a small group discussion in our breakout room. So just reminding everyone that we're here to listen open-heartedly, open-mindedly. So just giving everyone a chance to share who would like to share. It's okay to also join the group and just listen, and feel free to pass just to be a part of it. And, you know, Lorri presented us with almost like a challenge, just to say, like, are you willing to have loving self-talk? Are you willing to take that unconditional acceptance of God into your own mind about yourself? And so feel free to share about that. Feel free to declare your willingness, or feel free to share anything that has touched you from all that has been shared today. And since I'm doing both things, I just want to take a peek before I send you in there. And so we'll have 15 minutes in a breakout. Okay, so here we go. Right. Okay. So then I do. Okay. So we will have, just give me a moment here. There we go. Okay. It's just like, I got it all right. Okay. I think so. Okay. Well, good to be with you guys. Okay. All right. One moment. Okay. All right. So what would you like to share anything, Jennifer, from the talk today?
Oh, sure. Perfect. I mean, like, couldn't be more. I was thinking, like, I was thinking about the self-judgment. And when I was thinking about what songs I wanted to sing, like that part, where I've been lately is like welcoming all those parts of myself, like, and it doesn't have to be like forever. Like if I feel broken, or like, just for instance, the last couple of days I've been feeling this deep grief, and I noticed that I wanted to like pick up the phone, and like I wanted a friend to make me feel better and tell me it wasn't true, or you know what I mean, or the stories. But the truth, what I realized was that it actually was true, because that's where I was feeling in that moment. It's not true, but my grief is true. So I don't have to make a story about it. And been really feeling a lot of self-judgment. So I really appreciate that, what your talk today. And yeah, like the truth, just remembering the truth is just so important, and remembering the truth. And for me, and to move through the feelings that are coming up. So not to like bypass the feelings, right? So thank you. It's really beautiful, right? Very helpful. That was a word I was like, after you spoke, I said, that was really helpful.
Yeah, well, so I'll share next. We've got a cozy little corner here. Yeah, very, very awesome. I loved your share, Lorri. I loved your approach. I love when we just share from our lives. It's one thing to pull those quotes and say, here's what the course is saying. But it's another thing to say, and I need these things right now, or just to share what's going on with you. I love that approach. And yesterday I had this experience with Justine where it was just one of these moments where I felt guilty. I feel like in my mind, I have a policy to have unconditional forgiveness for myself as a parent. Like, because one of the things that helps me is I really hold on to, she picked me. Okay. She picked me. I picked her. We picked all of that, not just when I'm nice. Like we picked all the experiences we're going to have together. And I had an experience yesterday, so it's just been a little struggling with this, the screen time. Like, what do you do with the screen time? I said last night in my prayer group, I'm like, I feel like I want to drop kick the screen time parenting situation into the next galaxy. Like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with that and the other things that are consistently where I have to be consistent. And so much of it feels a little bit out of my control. It feels like if I had it my way, I would just cut it out altogether, because being in the middle is craziness. So she's kind of having this reaction, like, I don't want to stop watching it. She did this, like, she just had all this feeling. So some days when she's like that, what I do with her, because it just happened one day, I just like pick her up and I take her to a pillow and I like hit the pillow with her hands. And by the time we get there, she's already laughing and she's out of it. And she's just like, we just do something with the energy. And it just kind of depends on where we're at. So on this day yesterday, she like was starting to like bite my sweater and grab onto it and be like nagging, and she's mad. And I like pull my sweater back out. Like, I'm like, no, but I pulled it hard and I loosened her tooth. And I'm like, because she's crying. Okay. And this is what I love about what you said about the real world, because I also know like the world that we can be in, which is just the tilt-a-whirl thing. It's so insane. Okay. It's insane. It just feels crazy, because I feel crazy. I'm pulling my sweater like hard from my daughter's mouth. I loosen her tooth. She's crying. I'm like, I don't know about the tooth yet. I already just feel like, oh shoot, I reacted, like, darn it. Because in the Kundalini yoga, like what I learned at some point was like every reaction is a failure, but they don't say you're a failure, and they don't say you should never react. They're just saying we're aiming for responding, right? Which I think is what the course, right? Like, we're aiming for responding. So no, I just did it was just like a very reactive, like, no, you're not doing that. So later when she says, Mom, she's like, oh, and I'm like, and my husband was there. So then I'm like, oh my God, I just almost like, in my mind's thinking, oh, she, normally she wouldn't lose her tooth. My mind's thinking her other friend's older than her. She has no teeth missing. I don't think they're loose. Oh my God. I've always judged the kids with the loose teeth. Like, oh, well, they're unfortunate. They lost their teeth. Anyways, just going. And then the funny thing about her as like the greatest teacher, because then she's like, she's sad. And now I'm starting to feel like, oh, this is not the pretty part of parenting. And then I'm like, and then she goes like this. She goes like, oh, the tooth fairy's gonna come. Like she totally switches it and is like excited. And now I feel like this, I still feel bad. I still didn't feel good about my part in it, but I'm like, this world is so insane. Because it just feels like there's these moments of just like, it's a roller coaster. It is a ride. It's just a ride that if you're kind of like trying to manipulate or control these aspects of the thing, is just like insane. Because it's like, now I'm going down, she's going up, she's excited, I'm sad. And it's just like, oh, God. But what I said, which felt liberating, which feels like what you're saying, Jennifer, is like, what I did in that moment is I tried to not just go down guilt, like, oh, I shouldn't have never done that. I'm like, I said, I'm fiery. And if you bite me or hit me, I feel like a bulldog and I react. Like I named it. And I kind of not normalized it, but I just said what it's real for me. Like when you do that, I like, whoa, I feel like a bulldog and I want to fight. And so that's where I'm working on. That's what I'm working on, is seeing what else is possible. But in that moment, I just said it out loud because I was just trying to be like, don't go down there, Angela. Don't go so far down. You should be different. It's like, just name how you are. You're fiery. It must be, I must be more pitta, I'm like, I'm pitta and you're pitta. So sometimes we have some little like things happen. But the beauty of coming together and sharing what's happening and then recentering in the truth. And what I love always for myself, and I know this for you, Lorri, is like being someone who serves so many people, your compassion meter just went like so much wider and deeper and more expanded about what we all go through as human beings, because it is such a ride. And I even have more and more and more and more respect for the human experience as I have these moments of insanity. And if I see other people's insanity, I'm like, I'm not judging you, but is there any way I can help you? Because, this story's cracked that I am not perfect and I'm not even aiming for that anymore. So it's like not even trying. I mean, but I do, if I'm unconsciously, I'm trying unconsciously. I'm comparing myself to the perfect woman, it's like always trying to be in my thing. So thank you. And thanks for letting me share that. Because like you said, as I share it and say it and name it, it's not going to lurk behind me that I secretly hold this thing against myself. And as we move around and she's like, look, but now I'm like, yeah, I did that. But we did it. But the tooth fairy will be here sooner than I wish. And I am the tooth fairy. I don't know.
Thank you so much for being authentic as well, Angela, because just, saying that you reacted, because in our minds, when we go there, we think we're the only ones in the world that would ever react like that would ever either be a bulldog or get upset. This week when I had Bitsy, she was this tiny dog and I called her Bitsy. I found that whenever I gave her my full attention, she was great and she was willing to be potty trained. But if I didn't give her my full attention, if I unloaded the dishwasher, like it could be simple things, if I went to take a shower, if I went to do anything that did not include her, she would go to the bathroom in the house, or she would, and it was like having a little, baby learning to crawl, like gotta get in, gotta try all this. But I also, even when I was going there and then just getting impatient with it and trying to be calm, I also noticed that she, whenever she saw another dog, like she lit up. And what I came to realize was she wants me to be her everything, like her playmate, her, like the one that keeps her safe, everything. And I was like, I, that's not something I can do. Like, I can't sit on the couch all day long so that she settles down. I don't have a partner that could take a turn with her. I don't have another dog and I don't plan on getting it. So I just kept seeing what would make her happy and what would make me happy. And that is what I came to. What's going to make her happiest? What's going to make me happiest? And I knew it wasn't the two of us being together, but that whole guilt thing came up too. So it was really, really interesting to experience that and to know I was paying attention to a lie, but I was still getting drawn in by the lie and thinking, why can't I do better? Like, so just learning to be like you were saying, Jennifer, what I loved is, there were just times I was holding her and I was bawling because I was just overcome by so many feelings. And I found that when I could do that, then it created a clear space again. So just being able to not label the feelings is so helpful as well. And I love her rainbow braids, by the way.
That just happened today. But yeah, thank you. I think she was having a bad dream because she was like, help, help. And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
How old is she?
She'll be 5 in a couple days.
Great.
I know, rainbow braids was on this like vision board we have for a birthday and rainbow braids. It's like, check, done. We just did that today. So yeah. Look at the cool light coming in Jennifer's house. That's so
Oh
cool.
yeah. The light here is amazing right here.
Wow.
I'm so tired today. I'm like,
Oh,
it's like one of those days.
yeah.
Need the light.
Oh, yeah. There's a boost. It's like a power boost coming through.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Really.
all about the mercy, the forgiveness, and the compassion.
Yeah.
Like being gentle. Oh, I'm tired. You know what? That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Just recently, I said somewhere, because being out and about or something, errands, like, how are you? How are you? I'm like, I'm a little cranky today, but I'm saying it almost like honestly, but I'm not saying like I'm cranky. I'm like, truthfully, cranky day, working with it,
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm just trying this on. Like, it's okay. Because it'll dissolve so much faster.
Yeah. Versus like stuffing it down. Like, I'm
Yeah,
okay.
just like,
Okay.
all right,
That's
smile.
below, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, yeah. Just saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then you've got in your mind, you're like, I could think, I could choose peace instead of this. I'm like, working on it. I'm like, yes. But I do remember, Lorri, at some point in Masterful Living, at some point in this journey, I don't know exactly when I was starting to be so loving and kind to myself, no matter what, I really did feel like, oh my God, for me, this is what it means. To be either to access the gifts of God. I'm like, because I'm sort of like in command of the access I will grant myself to them based on how I treat myself. So it was like, oh, you know, when people say like, I want to feel closer to God, and it's like, well, you know, how you treat yourself will either, you know, then that's how you either access or don't access. So hi everybody. Hi Nancy. Hi Nancy. Hi Beck. Oh, and Brendan, my neighbor in my town. Okay, Mary's here. Carolyn. Hey Brendan. Same zip code, I think. We're in the same zip code. Okay. So trusting you had a fruitful discussion and grateful for all of you who stick around. You get your money's worth. Oh, Nancy's silly today. Yes, you get your money's worth. And, you know, it's so great to reset for the week. Even though time doesn't matter. And for me, the week doesn't mean a lot different, but just to spend this time nourishing yourself. So if you have any declarations you'd like to make or anything you'd like to share with us that we can hold for you, what are you taking into your week from your discussion? Any decisions you're making? You know, my fist is like this. So it's like anything you want to declare for yourself, please put that in the chat and we can weave that in to the prayer and hold that for you. So no pressure, but that's an opportunity if you'd like to take it. Okay, so we are going to do announcements and then we do our last song and our closing prayer. So I'm going to say, Lorri, would you like to start with any announcements that you have? Anything you're announcing?
You know, you mentioned earlier, they are coming from the printer. They're coming in the next probably 10 days, but I created a deck of oracle cards with Jennifer. Her prayers are in here, Jennifer Hadley, and an amazing artist from the UK named Mo. And the cards themselves are based on rules for decision in A Course in Miracles. And it's about setting an intention. So the wording on the cards, you know, I choose a joyful mindset now. I choose an honest mindset now. So they're all spiritual qualities and you can use them. I choose a fearless mindset now. And I was actually using them during the week and they were, you know, and as I was going through stuff on the Camino and because I took them with me and this past week, and they were really helping me because I would read it, I would journal a little bit, I would try to remind myself of the affirmation, and I would say the prayer out loud. And just remembering those qualities, they always showed up as perfect. One day I pulled gentle this week, which was definitely something I needed. Non-judgmental was another one that I pulled, and I was reminding myself, and the other one was joy. So these are available now for pre-order on my website, and I can put the link in the chat if you're interested. And yeah, that's the new fun announcement, just in time for the holidays.
Cool. Thank you, Lorri. And yay, I love Nancy's enthusiasm today. And then Jennifer, do you have any announcements? Maybe she had to step away, so I'll go next. And oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go next. And then Jennifer, if you have any announcements, we'll bring you on and then you can do your song. So our announcement at the Power of Love Ministry, well, we're gearing up for 2024. It's very fun. So I think Masterful Living is right at the top of the charts there. And, you know, we've already have people enrolling. So as you enroll early, you also can take advantage of the classes that Jennifer's offering. She just did grieving through the holidays. So as you register earlier than the end of the year, you do end up getting access to some of her 3-part classes that will be unfolding for the next few months. So Masterful Living, I don't know if I have any help, but I've got thank you. I've got the best co-pilot. Masterful Living 2024. You know, if you're not sure if this is your year, because I know for me, I ended up joining without knowing much about it. But, you know, if I had stuck around in the community, sometimes other offerings Jennifer has, you know, you're just not sure if it's your year. So if you would like to set up an exploratory call, if you click the link for Masterful Living and some early on in the page, you can book an exploratory call. If you have any questions or you're on the fence, and it's not necessarily for us to talk you into it, it's just to see if what you're looking for in your life, if we feel Masterful Living could support that. So additionally, we have another forgiveness workshop coming up next Saturday, this coming Saturday. So free forgiveness workshops where you get walked through doing the forgiveness letter. And for so many people, they're so grateful that it's like a time where they're pinned down and they write it with other people and they're walked through the steps so that they don't, you know, come up with a million other things to do instead of write the letter. So if you're interested in registering for the next forgiveness workshop, there's the link in the chat. The other thing that's on Jennifer's events page is that she's a part of like a 3-day global event, Heal Your Mind, Save the World. So she is a guest speaker. And I just love that she's like speaking with the big guys, like Byron Katie's in that group. And I just love seeing her with all the major teachers in this world and at this time. So if you're interested in signing up, it looks like it's a free event. Looks highly worth it. And then lastly, if you are interested or thinking about becoming a counselor, or you are a counselor, she has her quantum counseling series coming out next year, which I feel like I'm going to get in on that one. So she's got 11 teachers. So every month, I think maybe she'll go twice, but every month there's a new teacher speaking about their view of spiritual counseling using A Course in Miracles. So lots of good stuff in store, as always. So thank you for your attention. And then Jennifer, I'll give you the floor and you can feel free to share any announcements and sing our last song. I've got a snoring child on my lap, so
I was going to say, I heard that.
mute myself.
I will put my website. You can email if anyone wants. I have a new album coming out. It's not for children. I mean, children can listen to it. It's like for everybody, but it's not specifically for children at all. It's more about for women and girls, and it's about a journey from feeling broken into feeling powerful. It's called Power and Grace. So yeah, and I'm happy to, if you do email me, if you want, I'm happy to email you a song from it, even though it's not released yet. So anyway, so this is a family music song, but I kind of rewrote it for everybody. I thought it'd be good to end on a prayer that's uplifting. Make a circle like the sun, shine, shine. Touch a heart, feel the love that gives. Loka samasa suki no bhavantu. The circle like the sun, shine, shine. Touch a heart, feel the love and give love. Loka samasa suki no bhavantu. I am peace, I am love, I am the light of the sun.
You are peace, you are love, you are the light of the sun. Because circle like the sun, shine, shine, touch a heart, feel the love and give the love. You are peace, you are love, you are the light of the sun. I am peace, I am love, I am the light of the sun. Make a circle like the sun, shine, shine. Make a circle like the sun, shine, shine. Touch a heart, feel the love and give it a hug. Make a circle like the sun, shine, shine, shine.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. What a cool vibe to go out on. Such a good vibe. Ah, all right. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Lorri. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for all of you who have stayed on to the end. Yeah, and just again, we'll thank GJ for being right there behind the scenes. Thank you for all your support, GJ. Okay, so we will say a prayer. And so with my hand on my heart, I'm so grateful for this vibration of peace and calm and joy that resides in me. I'm grateful for all that you offered us, Lorri, from sharing deeply from your heart and your life. Thank you for bringing us into the course, inspiring us to speak to ourselves with love and kindness, no matter what. And thank you, Jennifer, for bringing your beautiful music. Thank you for sharing from your heart and your life. And thank you, everyone who stayed on and shared in the breakout. Grateful for all that we are all doing to heal our mind of the false and allow what is true to shine through, that we are the light of the world. That's who we are, no matter what. We are grateful to go forward and practice with more gentleness, more willingness. We are grateful that we can go forward and be truly helpful in this world. So we are allowing all the healing to be. We are allowing ourselves to know ourselves truly. We let it be, and so it is. Amen. All right. Yeah, beautiful, everyone. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.